If you ever hit a goth club in the 1990s, you know there's a big difference between Los Angeles goth club and a San Francisco goth club. And every city had its differences. San Francisco danced more like performance art, while LA was more like a fashion show in the fog. Today I want to discuss the differences between San Francisco goth club and LA goth clubs, because I frequented them both. And I remember at the time, we really noticed differences between the two cities. And I unfortunately never really got to go to the East Coast. I had a lot of East Coast girlfriends come out to LA and to San Francisco. And I know there were big differences, obviously, between the clubs there. Even down to like styles of dancing are a little bit different in every place you go. So today I'm going to discuss the two cities I know, San Francisco and Los Angeles, and a little bit of the differences between the two. And then I'm dying to know what city you're from, and if you've been to any other cities to goth clubs, and what you notice the differences are, and if you agree with any of the ones I'm saying. I always think San Francisco moved like it was summoned by spirits, while LA was a little bit more like it was being filmed. There was a way more variety of people at the LA goth clubs than there were in the San Francisco goth clubs. It felt a little bit more like an exclusive scene I felt in San Francisco. I always feel like style-wise, San Francisco had more of a DIY, thrifted store look, and then I would go to LA and everybody would be wearing these fancy shiny outfits from like lip service or retail slut. So it was a different kind of environment, and it lent itself to different kind of style as well. My friends and I used to joke around that like we would always say the women in San Francisco are at the goth clubs are gorgeous, but the guys at the LA clubs are way better looking than the guys in the San Francisco clubs. No offense. I think it was more that at the time it was a little more glamorous in LA, and my San Francisco guys, love you all, a little more gritty, a little more industrial, maybe because I had grown up in that scene, when I went to LA and would see guys with a lot more eyeliner on at a goth club, and I was like, whoa, okay, this is happening. I always felt like LA seemed a little more dressy in a different kind of way, more glam dressy. But I did always think the girls in San Francisco would really dress to the nines. And, you know, you've got corsets and layers of velvet thrifted outfits that were put together with real creativity. But it's really just a difference in style. Both girls from both cities are beautiful. There was definitely, I think the first time I went to a goth club in LA, a bit of a music culture shock. I know every city has different songs on their playlist, different DJs, different environments. And that's what I love so much about this scene and talking about our experiences at goth clubs, because in different cities, different parts of the world, it might be a different song. Can I say different anymore? Maybe a different song that was like the one that hits on the dance floor, you know. And I hear people say, I hear people talking about songs that are played now that I like wouldn't even imagine being played back in the day, but I could totally see, like, for example, that they actually play Magic Dance from Labyrinth at the goth clubs sometimes now, and I was like, okay, I could see that, but that didn't happen back in the day, or at least in the scene I was in. San Francisco always seemed to play more like deep cuts. I mean, not necessarily always deep cuts, but you'd hear a lot more Dead Can Dance up there, a lot more wispy music, but you'd also get a lot more of the industrial bands up in San Francisco. And then when I started going to clubs in LA, it was a very different kind of music. It wasn't that different, but it was more towards the hits, the classics, and sometimes a lot of modern songs that you were like, what? For example, in LA, they would play Marilyn Manson at Bar Sinister, and that was just like, I remember being like, what? Like, where did this come from? It seemed so out of the box to me. And like I've said, that's a whole nother discussion on where Marilyn Manson lies in the music realm, because some people will call that goth and some will not. And yeah, it was definitely, for coming from San Francisco, it was an unexpected thing to hear on the dance floor in LA, and it still kind of cleared it out. LA always seemed to have more of like a fashion film, you know, LA vibe. It was more of a melting pot of aesthetics. While San Francisco had that more weirdo, hippie, think outside the box sort of vibe. And I think that definitely like was equated itself into the two different subcultures and the two different goth scenes. So tell me, which city do you think had a better scene? And where are you from? And what scene did you grow up with? And what do you think makes that particular one stand out? I want to know who's still repping their dance floor. Thank you so much for watching this video. Check out some of my other videos about goth culture, dance clubs, the 90s, and I will see you on the dance floor.